Bob Curran joined the Indiana National Guard in 1964. He started in field artillery, and he worked his way up through the ranks to be the gun commander. Now, he's a career guy in the Indiana National Guard, and we've got several career guys here today, and those of you that weren't, we all have several duties that you have while you're on, if you're a career guy. Some of his included being the unit supply sergeant. He was a battalion retention NCO and a career counselor. Because somehow we have to strong arm people to stay in at times. And then you have to get people to re-enlist, and you got drug and alcohol counselors, and there's a whole host of things that you have to fill billets on. And so, Bob was heavily involved in doing that, and he was awarded for retention into the Indiana National Guard. And he did receive, like I said, numerous awards for achievement in those fields. He also was an expert rifleman and a pistol marksman as well. After 22 and a half years, he retired in 1987. On a personal note, I do know Bob and Nancy and most of his family. And you really couldn't ask for better people than him and his wife. They are very committed to service of our community. And when you talk about Christians, you couldn't ask for better Christians. And I mean that truly. So it is with pleasure to present this quilt to Bob Curran.
Today's military is very technicalized. Back in our day, it was draftized. They had the military draft in service, and they drafted a fellow one time that didn't have any arms. And he said, "What are you going to do with me? I don't have any arms. Nothing I can do." And they said, "Oh, we've got a special job for you. You're going to be working with a very special person." So he made it through basic, through schooling, went to his first duty station, and he says, "Now, I'm here, what am I going to do?" And they said, "Well, you see this rifle here? You aim this rifle, and that Marine NCO over there will pull the trigger."
Is Virgil Lanning? He's not here today? Okay. Okay. Anita always seems to find one guy. She always finds one, and we save him for last. Tyron, come on up. Tyron Myers joined the United States Air Force in 1973, where he was assigned duties as a security police. Now, typically, when you're security police, one of the first places they send you is to Minot Air Force Base. Now, why not Minot? Reason's a reason. So all you Air Force folks out there know it's almost a kiss to death, because once you go there, you can't get away from it. The reason for that is because of security clearance, because of the nukes. He went from there to Thailand Air Force Base in Thailand, and then to Seymour Johnson in North Carolina. His responsibilities was to ensure safety of all the base weapons, property, personnel from hostile forces. After his 4 years in the service, into his military service, he then went into the federal prison system, where he stayed there until he retired recently. Now, you think, well, he didn't do nothing out of the ordinary with this guy. There's nothing really extraordinary about what I just talked about, is there? Until I read this. Wherever I say airman, think veteran. There we go. I am not a well-educated man. I am not well-spoken or well-versed. I don't recall things like I used to, but I can tell you what it's like to be an airman. Being an airman in the United States Air Force means that just having a rank and wearing a uniform, being an airman is to embody core values such as service before self. Airmen are expected to be people of integrity, courage, and conviction. Airmen honor those who came before them. Airmen support and defend the United States Constitution. Airmen are expected to be the best they can be in any situation. That is what's meant to be an airman. Embody the core values, having strong morals, and exceeding the standards. Now, if that doesn't explain what a veteran is, I don't know what does. I would say that he is extremely well educated to be able to write that paragraph. So I thank you so much for sharing that wisdom with us today. Thank you so much. So that quilt is very well deserved. So with that said, I think we turn this back over to Anita. And veterans, remember, do not leave. We're going to have a picture.
All right, well, thank you so much to Tim and Jennifer for all that they do. And if we were to try to stand up here and read their bios, it would not be the same. Military people talk military, on that out. So it's my job today now to thank all the people who helped make today possible. And I'm going to go through a list here because I will definitely forget somebody if I'm not careful. The Putnam County Extension Homemaker Council and the Beechwood Ladies Club from Fillmore every year have donated to us to help defray some of the costs of getting our quilts quilted, and we so appreciate that. They feel like they're on board with us and love to support us in that way, so it's something that we really appreciate. Also, our So Many Stitchers Quilt Club, that's a sister club to us. Several of our members actually go to both because they just can't get enough of quilting. And they assist in so many ways. They especially today, that during the year they work on blocks and put quilts together and just support us a lot. And they're really special to us. We also have a quilt block contest every year at the fair. And some of those blocks were actually used in the quilts that you saw today. We have several from this year that will turn into quilts for next year, and we appreciate all the people who get into that little contest. Really want to thank Marcia for being here today and honoring us with the national anthem. We really appreciate that so much. And Mr. Cheatham, I'm so glad you got to go on your honor flight. It just thrills me to my bones because I know that is such a special day and a wonderful thing, and that you got to do it right after your 100th birthday. That is pretty cool. We're the oldest one on the plane?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I want to thank Jerry Glass from S&J Embroidery for the labels. Now, if you look at the back and on the corner of your quilt, you'll notice that there is a commemorative label that's been sewn on there. So it has the date, maybe who made your quilt. And if it says Quilt Club, it was probably one of the ones that came either from the blocks that were entered at the contest or some that just some ladies made and turned in that ended up being quilts. So we appreciate all of that. If you need anything embroidered, hit Jerry up because he's been very faithful at donating those for us every year. We appreciate it. Eric Bernsey, we thank you for being here and covering us from the banner. Amber Beams Photography, we appreciate you being here and our official photographer today. That way, because my picture taking's not always that great. I want to thank Tom Stander and the Boy Scout Troop 99 and 999. Thank you, Scouts, very much. We appreciate the use of our community coming forth and supporting our veterans. I also want to thank Pastor Tommy Stander back at the Media Center and Life Spring Church for letting us come in here and mess up their stage and take over for the day in here. He's done all these wonderful graphics that he has up for us to look at, and got my videos all queued up for me just right. And then through the doors. Feel free to pick one of those up. There's contact information on there. So if you know somebody that you'd like to nominate for next year or something like that, that would be great. Also, on the back of your quilt, I'm sure you've already noticed by now, there's a pillowcase pinned to it. And that is if you want to keep your quilt clean going home today, you can do that. You can fold it up and put it in there. If you need help, holler. We can help you do that. We love to fold quilts. Also, inside of it is a bag that has instructions on how to clean your quilt and some color catchers. And just in case because we expect you to, they're washable. They'll wash just fine, so you can do that. We do have refreshments when we get finished taking the pictures for a fellowship time around in the fellowship hall. Several of our ladies have donated cookies and apple cider and coffee, so feel free to stick around a little bit and visit a little bit. At this time, I'm going to have everybody sort of stay where they are, and if the veterans would come and kind of line up here, I'm going to have our photographer and the banner, Eric, get y'all lined up. So if you'd all come forward, please. Bring your quilt if you want to hold your hand on your quilt.